morning. This is our National Capital Area Council's 2018 Award of Honor, in which the Silver Beaver Award is awarded to many of our very finest of our scouters and supporters of scouting. My name is Jim Smith. I'm your council president and one of your masters of ceremony for this event. This has been several years as a continuing tradition in our council of honoring these outstanding adults and youth. And let me assure you that we have a great night, a great day here in store. We would like to all rise as the members of the Amongamek Rivet Lodge of the Order of the Arrow, led by Lodge Chief Beckman Hollis, present the colors and lead us in our opening ceremony.
Thank you so much. Color guard, attention. Color guard, advance. Scout salute. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Close the colors. Please give the scout sign and join me in the scout oath.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
And now, scout law.
Scouts are trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
2. Color guard, dismissed. You may be seated. Now, please join me for the invocation. Let us pray. We are grateful for the work of Sir Robert Baden-Powell, who in his dedication and wisdom founded the World Scouting Movement. We are grateful for the efforts of those thousands of men and women who brought scouting to millions of youth the world over. We rededicate ourselves to the principles of our movement, to do our best, to do our duty to God and to our country. We pray for the strength and the courage to live up to the Scout Oath, the Scout Law, and the high ideals of the World Brotherhood of Scouting. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you enjoyed your meal. I want to welcome you to our National Capital Area Council Court of Honor. My name is Jim Stewart, and I'll be your Master of Ceremonies for the remaining portion of today's festivities. Our next speaker is a familiar sight around our council, our Scout Executive, Les Barron. He's been a professional for over 30 years. He joined our council in 2010. He's previously served as Scout Executive of Orange County Council in Santa Ana, California. Since joining our own council, he's led us through numerous challenges and many fantastic accomplishments. His vision is to be recognized in our communities by a premier youth program of youth fitness, environmental stewardship, and values-based leadership development. In short, to become the council with impact, preparing young people for life. Please help me and welcome me our executive, Les Barron, to share his thoughts this morning. Les.
Thank you, Jim. Good morning.
Good to see you guys. I want to start by saying, John Montgomery, you're great. Congratulations to all the members of the John Montgomery Silver Beaver class. That's got enough for you, John. Very nice. You all represent an outstanding group of men and women who combined have dedicated thousands of hours to our young men and women year after year, not just year after year. I can't think of a better thing to say about someone. And if not a group of leaders, I'd rather say it about. Thank you for giving us the chance to recognize all of you today. Without a doubt, this is my favorite event of the year. I know that you will agree with that, as you will see that we have a top shelf group of super leaders, outstanding class. As some of you already know, this is my last summer as your scouting executive. The 8 wonderful years I've been here in the National Capital Area Council, frankly, just went by. When I look back at all that we have done together, all that we have achieved, I can't even tell you how proud I am to be associated with you. What a great job, where you can be around people that you admire all day long. Eagle Scouts, John Montgomery's of the world, Jim Smith's as council president. It's amazing the people that you have the opportunity to work with in this organization. Working together, we have made this camp, Camp William B. Snyder, a sustainable center for scouting just minutes from downtown DC. Assuming you missed the track. It was good this morning. We have built 3 new dining halls, fixed a dam at Ocean Scout Reservation. We have rebuilt, almost literally from the ground up, scouting in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Along the way, we paid off a little debt, and all of the debt that the council awarded over 12,000 Eagle Scouts. And most importantly, we recruited over 100,000 young men and women just in the time that we've been together. We know that out of every 100 scouts, 2 will use skills they learned in our program to save the life of a friend, a loved one, or possibly even themselves. The way I look at things, that means that during our time together, this past couple of 8 years, that we have saved 200 lives. That's the impact that you guys are making. It's tremendous when you really think about what you guys are doing on that Monday night meeting, and what you are doing for young people, what you're doing for this society. It's tremendous. Being around you guys just inspires me every day. It's pretty darn good. I'd like to leave you with a passage from Lord Baden-Powell's farewell message to the Scouts, like the pirates from Peter Pan. He was fond of giving the farewell remarks because he didn't know when he would see these folks again. But this one is actually from his final letter, and it says, and I quote, "I believe that God put us on this jolly world to be happy and enjoy life. Happiness comes from being rich, not from being rich, nor merely from being successful in your career, nor by self-indulgence. The real way to get happiness is by giving out happiness to other people. Try to leave this world a little better than you found it. Heard that one before. Be prepared in this way to live happy. Stick to your scout promise always, even after you have ceased to be a boy. And God will help you do all that." Well, I know God has helped me along the way, and I know you too can help me in everything that we've done in this Boy Scout Council. And that's meant the world to me. Thank you for all you continue to do for our young people in our community and scouting across this country. I look forward to seeing you around the campfire and on the road. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Les, and thank you for all your leadership, and we're just looking forward to this year ahead in Scouting. We're really off to a great start. And I also want to thank all the volunteers. We have over 21,000 volunteers in National Capital Area Council. Thank you for all that you do and your dedication to this outstanding program that we have. This morning's Court of Honor will feature the awarding of the 2018 Silver Beaver to 21 outstanding Scouters. I now declare this Court of Honor convened. At this time, I would ask the first group of Silver Beaver recipients and their escorts to proceed to the chairs on my right. As our first group of honorees takes their places, I would like to share with you some history about the Silver Beaver Award. It's Scouting's highest award. It's a national level award. It's presented at the local council level to those who have made an extraordinary impact on the lives of youth through service given to Scouting and the community. Through hard work, self-sacrifice, and dedication. The Silver Beaver is not just about the achievements in Scouting. It's about the whole person. Recipients are chosen not only for their dedication to Scouting, but also for the work they have done with other youth organizations in the community as a whole. The Silver Beaver Award was created by the National Council and first presented in 1931. Ken Davis did not actually be part of that first class. From the beginning, recipients have been recommended by the local council to the National Council. Approximately 1 in every 635 volunteers is so honored. Recipients are entered into the BSA's national record along with Eagle Scouts and Army Arrow Vigil members. In 1971, the Silver Fawn Award was introduced as an equivalent award for women. But just a few years later, in 1974, it was merged with the Silver Beaver Award. At this time, I'd like to recognize past recipients of several related awards. First, would all recipients of the District Award of Merit stand and be recognized? Thank you. You may be seated. Next, would all previous recipients of the Silver Beaver or the Silver Fawn Award please stand that we may recognize you. Thank you. You may be seated. The Silver Antelope is awarded for significant service to Scouting on the regional level. Would all Silver Antelopes in attendance this morning please stand to be recognized. Thank you. Lastly, the Silver Buffalo is presented to adults for exceptional service at the national level. Would all Silver Buffalo recipients please stand and be recognized? Thank you, and again, congratulations to all of you. In 1992, our council began a tradition of naming each year's Silver Beaver class in honor of an outstanding previous Silver Beaver recipient. This year's class honoree is Captain John B. Montgomery, United States Navy, retired. John, congratulations. We're looking forward to hearing from you later this morning. We are also continuing a tradition started several years ago by designing a commemorative council shoulder patch. One of these is designed for each class, and it's available for purchase, as is the Silver Beaver tie. So I encourage you, after we're done here, please go back and buy them. Now it's time for the real fun. Jim Reckless, would you please bring your passion and enthusiasm up on the stage to get this rolling and present the first set of Silver Beaver Awards.
Damon Ryan Allen. escorted by his mom, Linda. Damon's scouting adventure began in 1987 in Walken Heath, Suffolk, England. His journey took him through 5 countries and 25 states. He attended the Cub Scout Olympics in London, visited Roundsea Island, toured Gilwell Park, and the Baden-Powell House. As he aged, he attended 3 different high-adventure bases. He was on staff for 4 national jamborees, 4 national youth leadership training courses, several Powderhorn courses, and Camp Airy. The most prestigious recognition Damon received as a youth were the Arrow of Light, Eagle Scout, and the Venturing Ranger and Silver Awards. As an adult, he has been recognized with several training awards and keys: the Distinguished Commissioner Award, the District Award of Merit, and the Council Venturing Leadership Award. Damon has held various positions within scouting on the unit level, district level, and council level. He currently serves as the Francis Scott Key District's Venturing Promotion Chair, Assistant District Commissioner for Venturing, as well as the advisor to the Frederick County Venturing Officers Association. He also serves as the program chair for the Council Venturing Committee. Damon works 3 jobs during the year where he provides knowledge, assistance, and guidance to children of all ages. In the Frederick County Public Schools, he is an instructional assistant and tutor for special education. He is also an interpreter for the deaf and an assistant coach for the Monocacy Aquatics Club. During the summer, he works in the outdoor department at Camp Airy. In his spare time, Damon enjoys swimming, reading, playing chess, and gaming. For outstanding service to his community, the National Capital Area Council is proud to present the Silver Beaver Award to Damon Allen.
Matthew James Burns III, escorted by his wife Beatrice. Matt joined Scouts in Wakefield, Massachusetts, earned his Arrow of Light, bridged to Troop 701, and earned Eagle Scout in 1973. He served 26 years in foreign service, including tours in Nicaragua, Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba, Russia, Italy, and Israel. Matt retired in 2005 with the 1-star equivalent rank of Foreign Service Counselor. He joined Lockheed Martin as Director of International Human Resources, or IHRR, and served in a variety of executive positions before retiring in 2017 as Director of HR Operations. Matt then started Tullow International HR Consulting to help organizations improve their support for employees serving overseas. Matt speaks Spanish, Italian, and Russian. Matt was board member treasurer of the Barber International School in Israel and was parish coordinator for St. Anthony's Parish in Jaffa. Matt was a coach or assistant coach with Vienna Youth Soccer, volunteers with Windover Heights Neighborhood Watch, and is an usher at St. Leo the Great Church. Matt is George Mason District's Vice Chair for Advancement, District Eagle Representative, member of the Council Advancement Committee, a unit commissioner, and assistant scoutmaster for Troop 1113. Matt was a scoutmaster and cubmaster. Matt's awards include the District Award of Merit, Scoutmaster Award of Merit, and Bronze Pelican Award. Matt went to Philmont Scout Ranch and the Florida Sea Base, Bahamas. Matt's married to Beatrice, and they enjoy traveling, hiking, movies, and reading. Matt and Beatrice completed the Way of St. James in Spain in 2015, hiking approximately 450 miles from Roncesvalles to Santiago de Compostela. Matthew, their son, is also an Eagle Scout. In recognition of his service to scouting and his community, we are proud to present the Silver Beaver Award to Matt Burns.
Annie Capiol, escorted by her husband Brett. A native Virginian, Annie started her career in scouting when her oldest son became a tiger cub at Pack 1161 in 2001. Annie served as an assistant detonator for her oldest son Robert all the way through Rebelos, and then again for her younger son Joey as detonator until his bridging to Boy Scout Troop 92 in 2010. She served as both Pack and Troop Committee Chair, and her husband Brett was Scoutmaster. Both her sons have received the rank of Eagle Scout. Annie has served as powwow instructor for 12 years and helped on administrative staff for Goshen 50. Within Piedmont District, she was the Scouting for Food Chair, District Trainer, Cub Scout Roundtable Commissioner, and Cub Scout Day Camp Director. Outside of scouting, Annie volunteered at local schools where she ran chess clubs at elementary school and middle school levels. She is a member of the local chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, serving as Flag Committee Chairman and as Chairman of the Service to America Committee. Annie is delighted to receive this honor, but truly, the honor lies in being associated with the Scouting program. As Robert Baden-Powell once said, Scouting is not an abstruse or difficult science. Rather, it is a jolly game if you take it in the right light. In the same time, it is educative, and like mercy, it is apt to benefit him that giveth as well as him that receives. The National Capital Area Council is pleased to present the Silver Beaver to Annie Capiol for exceptional service to you.
Christopher Ty Cooper, escorted by his wife, Maria.
Captain America!
Christopher's tenure as a scouting leader includes roles as a den leader, pack committee chair, unit and assistant roundtable commissioner, assistant scoutmaster, marketing chair for Goshen at 50, wood badge staff, instructor at Powwow, University of Scouting, and the Commissioner College, and now as scoutmaster for Troop 1853. Christopher and his wife Maria have 3 sons, Ethan, an Eagle Scout, Gabriel, a Life Scout, and Noah, a first-class Scout. The entire Cooper family is a scouting family. The force runs strong in all of them. Christopher owes his knowledge and love of scouting to many scouting mentors. Specifically, Christopher would like to acknowledge Dean Stinson, John Selstrom, Steve Richardson, Tom DeMazia, and Mike Neppy. These mentors and friends have provided their guidance, patience, and friendship to him throughout his scouting career. Of course, scouting would not be possible for Christopher without the support and love of his wife, Maria. Outside of scouting, Christopher spends time supporting the missions of Law Enforcement United and concerns of police survivors. Both organizations raise awareness and monetary funds for family of fallen law enforcement officers. In support of these organizations, Christopher has ridden his bicycle over 3,000 miles and climbed to the highest point in 13 states where a law enforcement officer has died in the line of duty. A Brotherhood member of the Order of the Arrow, Christopher has been recognized with the Scouter's Key, Scouter's Training Award, Distinguished Commissioner Award, along with the District Award of Merit. For his outstanding service to his community, the National Capital Area Council is proud to present the Silver Beaver Award to Christopher Cooper.
Walter Edson Jr., escorted by his daughter, Jessica, and son-in-law, Dr. Chris Sang. Jay, and you know him as Jay, not Walter. Jay joined Cub Scouts in 1962 in Tucson, Arizona, where scouting fostered his lifelong passion for the great outdoors. Jay is an Eagle Scout and Vigil Honor member of the Order of the Arrow, and served on staff at Camp Lawton in Arizona and Philmont Scout Ranch. Jay currently chairs NCAC's International Committee. He's also a unit commissioner, a merit badge counselor, and the chapter organization representative for Troop 124 at his parish, St. John Newman. Jay has served in several district and chapter positions. He has also been on faculty for University of Scouting and Commissioner College. Back at Gilwell, Jay is a bear and has served as a Woodmatch troop guide. Jay served at the 2013 and 2017 National Jamborees, as well as the 22nd and 23rd World Scout Jamboree in Sweden and then in Japan. He's also involved in the upcoming 24th World Scout Jamboree as a Northeast Region Commissioner. Jay has earned the International Scouternaut, District Award of Merit, Commissioner's Arrowhead and Key, and Commissioner Distinguished Commissioner Distinguished Service Award. He is a James West Fellow and a member of the Inter-American Scout Foundation's Order of the Condor. Jay's professional career as a translator and interpreter and lawyer includes service with the World Health Organization, the International Law Institute, and the Senior International Council for Sprint. The National Park Service has afforded him additional opportunities in the outdoors as a volunteer at Wolf Trap and for events at the White House. In recognition of his service to youth in the community, the National Capital Area Council is pleased to present the Silver Beaver Award to Jay Edson.
Stephen R. England, escorted by his wife Roxanne. Steve joined Scouting in Minnesota, where he earned the Eagle Scout rank in 1981. He was a chapter and lodge officer in Tonkawampus Lodge of the Order of the Arrow, where he received the Vigil Honor and the Founders Award. As a young adult, Steve was an assistant scoutmaster, unit commissioner, assistant district commissioner, and district commissioner in Minnesota, and served for 2 summers as a commissioner at Many Point Scout Reservation. He was also a unit commissioner in Alaska and a troop committee member in the National Capital Area Council. Returning to scouting when his son crossed over into Boy Scouts, Steve has served as an assistant scoutmaster, unit commissioner, Order of the Arrow chapter advisor and area advisor, district vice chairman for finance, merit badge counselor, and Eagle Scout advisor. Among other things, he has organized 2 Order of the Arrow Lodge fellowships, a lodge banquet, numerous ordeals, 5 years of district rechartering training, and a troop high adventure trip to Alaska. He's currently involved in the Lutheran Church of the Redeemer, where he is regularly the sound technician for worship services and has been treasurer of the Endowment Fund, chair of the Constitution Committee, and a member of the Congregation Council. A copyright lawyer, he has an active pro bono practice advising arts and literacy organizations, including their youth programs. He has also assisted families facing eviction in proceedings in District of Columbia Landlord-Tenant Court. He and his wife Roxanne have been married for 24 years and have 3 children. For his outstanding service to scouting, the National Capital Area Council proudly presents the Silver Beaver Award to Steve England.
Kenneth G. Fang, escorted by his wife Alice. Kenny took his first scout oath to do his duty to God and the Queen in Hong Kong, then a British Crown colony. As a wolf cub, he achieved the Leaping Wolf Badge and held the leadership position of Seconder before his family moved to the United States and settled in California. As a new immigrant, Ken joined the Boy Scouts of America. Scouting provided him opportunities to advance his leadership skills as an Eagle Scout, Lodge Chief, and Archery Director at Camp Ahwahnee. Indeed, but for scouting opportunities, Ken would not be where he is today and be living the American dream. Ken returned to scouting after marrying Alice, along with their 2 children, Tim, an Eagle Scout, and Katie, a crew president. As a scouter, Ken held many positions from a unit leader to the international service team with the World Organization of Scout Movement. In 2008, the Fang family created the National Capital Area Council International Fund for providing scholarships to attend future World Scout Jamborees. As a scout in the Police Explorer post, Ken was inspired to a career as a deputy sheriff in Los Angeles County, then becoming a special agent in Washington, D.C., where he retired as Assistant Director for Investigations from the United States Government Accountability Office. He is a recipient of the Lord Fairfax Award and a Virginia House of Delegates resolution commending his 36 years of public service. Since retirement, Ken started a consulting firm, joined Rotary Club International, and devotes his remaining time to family and more scouting. The National Capital Area Council is pleased to welcome Kenny Fang as a Silver Beaver for outstanding service to youth.
Joseph H. Grant, escorted by his mentor and friend, Ken Davis. Joseph joined Boy Scout Troop 866 in Springfield, Virginia in 1964. In 1966, he earned his Junior Leader's Certificate of Training under Fred D. Mays at National Capital Area Council Camp Roosevelt. In 1967, he earned the Eagle Scout rank. He joined Amangamak Whippet Lodge in 1968. That summer, he went to Philmont Scout Ranch with the Provisional Council crew. In July, his father returned from Vietnam. The family moved to San Antonio, and after one more trip to Philmont, his scouting career paused. In 1994, Joseph rejoined scouting as an adult leader. Over the years, he served in many positions, including PAC Committee Chairman, Scoutmaster, Unit Commissioner, District Chair, and University of Scouting Dean. He served on the staff of the 2001 National Jamboree and the 2015 National Order of the Arrow Conference. His passion for high adventure continued throughout his service as an advisor on 2 Len Oxen treks, 3 Philmont treks, and a Florida sea-based expedition. Along the way, he had the joy of watching his 2 daughters each earn Venturing Silver and Ranger Awards, and his son earned the Eagle Scout rank and received Vigil Honor recognition. Joseph's federal career was as an attorney for 13 years with the Honorable J.J. Pickle and the Committee on Ways and Means, and as an executive for 17 years with the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation and the Internal Revenue Service. Joseph's service throughout all these adventures has been arm in arm with Alice, his wife of 37 years. The best is yet to come. For his distinguished service to youth and his community, we proudly present the Silver Beaver Award to Joseph Grant.
Kurt R. Johnson, escorted by his wife Janet. Kurt began his scouting career in Los Angeles, earning the Arrow of Light, Order of the Arrow Brotherhood, and Life Scout. I'm graduating from Arizona State University with 3 bachelor's degrees. He was commissioned an ensign in the United States Navy. Kurt served 25 years in the Navy and Naval Reserve in the operational and imagery intelligence fields, retiring as a commander, twice receiving the Defense Meritorious Service Medal. He retired from federal service in December 2017 with 40 years total service, receiving the Meritorious and Distinguished Civilian Service Medals. Kurt's community volunteer work includes supporting his independent Christian church as an ordained elder and bishop, the Presbytery secretary, corporate director, and administrative financial manager. Kurt inaugurated George Mason District's twice yearly Flags In events at the National Memorial Cemetery, which have been widely supported by Boy Scout and Girl Scout units. He is the district representative to the Council Shooting Sports Committee, a range safety officer at the National Capital Area Council Centennial Cabaret, and the Camp Bowman Shooting Sports Director at the Goshen at 50 Cabaret. His high adventure trips include Philmont Scout Ranch and Glen Hawks. Kurt is an assistant district commissioner, unit commissioner, and assistant scoutmaster. His scouting awards include the Scouter's Key, Commissioner's Key, Commissioner's Arrowhead, Commissioner's Award of Excellence, National Capital Area Council Outstanding Commissioner Award, and District Award of Merit. Kurt is married to Jen, and they will be transferring to the Grand Canyon Council later this year. Carl, their son, is a Silver Palm Eagle Scout and is currently training as a naval flight officer in the United States Navy. This morning, the National Capital Area Council takes great pride in awarding the Silver Beaver to Kurt Johnson.
John A. Keenan IV, escorted by his wife Alexandria. John was never a scout as a youth, but with 3 sons, getting involved in scouting was a foregone conclusion. He joined as den leader when his middle son became a tiger cub and saw all 3 sons sorry about that, excuse me, and saw all 3 sons bridge into Troop 1572. When John's oldest son joined the troop, John joined as an assistant scoutmaster, eventually serving as scoutmaster and committee member. John has served as leader on many campouts, summer camps, high adventure trips, and international scout trips. John found his real scouting passion when he joined the Order of the Arrow. At his first service project, performing trail cleanup at a site hosting numerous district events, John fell in love with the combination of hard work and fellowship he experienced there. He's been actively involved in the Order of the Arrow ever since. For the past 4 years, John has served as the chapter advisor, working closely with youth and adult airmen to help meet the mission of the chapter and lodge. John's also active with the District of Columbia nonprofit, formed in memory of his mother, helping to provide affordable housing to those in need. John serves as the board president, working along with his sister, family, and several close friends. John manages to shoehorn time into his schedule to travel with his wife of 9 years, Alex. He spends time with his children, Aaron, John, Robert, and Gunnar. John's kids are all forging their own paths as adults, and John enjoys their friendship very much. For distinguished service to youth and his community, the National Capital Area Council proudly presents the Silver Beaver Award to John Keenan.
Joseph C. Margraf Jr., escorted by his wife Denise. Although Joe was a Cub Scout for only 1 year in New Hampshire, That all changed when his oldest son joined scouting some 30 years later. It was his Pabst Pinewood Derby that got Joe hooked on scouting. During his adult scouting career, Joe has held multiple positions at the pack, troop, crew, and district level, including the district's Cub Scout Day Camp Director for 4 years. Joe served as a Cub Master for 4 years and Scout Master for 5 years. In addition, he has organized and participated in treks to Philmont Scout Ranch, Florida Sea Base Bahamas, and Northern Tier in Canada, earning the Charles L. Summers High Adventure Triple Crown Award. Joe is a Brotherhood member of the Order of the Arrow and has earned his Wood Badge beads and attended the BSA's National Camping School. He is currently a Boy Scout Roundtable Commissioner, Troop 1346 Scout Assistant Scoutmaster, member of the Patriot District's training staff, and MC of the District Pinewood Derby. Joe attended St. Bonaventure University and received his Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. He currently heads the Omega World Travel Meetings Division in Fairfax, Virginia. He is an active member of the Church of the Nativity in Burke, Virginia, and has served on their altar server committee and as a lector. Over the years, Joe has volunteered for youth athletics as an umpire, an assistant Little League coach, basketball coach, and head timer for his neighborhood swim team. Joe and his wife Denise live in Burke, Virginia with their 2 sons, Chris, an Eagle Scout, and Nick, a Life Scout. In recognition of his leadership and service to scouting and the community, the National Capital Area Council proudly presents the Silver Beaver Award to Joseph Margrath.
Let's give our first group of Silver Beaver recipients. I'd like to briefly here recognize the members of this year's Silver Beaver Selection Committee. They spent many hours carefully reviewing and discussing each and every nomination individually. For those of you from the committee who are here, please stand when your name is called. You can hold your applause while we're all standing. Chairman Jim Stewart, Melanie Anthony, Doug Carlson, Christina Chioma, Hondo Davids, Ken Davis, Phil Dennis, Bill Desmond, Jim Kulik, George Martin, Maggie Smith, Randy Wilson, Ed Weeks, and as staff advisor to this important committee, Don Durbin. I'd like to thank you all for what you've done. Now, a lot of hours have been spent for today's Court of Honor, so many thanks to the volunteers for this morning. Special thanks to Yvette Bueller and Tony Quinn, the voices that you hear. There are people behind those voices. If you search them out a little bit afterwards, you'll see them. We appreciate what they do for us year to year. Our biography readers, as I just mentioned, and thank you to Leroy Farnham for supporting our audio-visual, very important part of our program, supported by audio-visual. Aaron Chusett and the NCAC marketing team for their support, and Alan Dieter from the Advancement and Recognition Committee, who coordinated the program and the script. Would all of you please stand to be recognized? It's time to get ready for our second set of Silver Beaver presentations, and there are 2 things to do before that. One is an advertisement, and the second is some brief remarks and a short video. But let me invite the second group of Silver Beaver recipients to make your way to the chairs as was laid out in the practice order. So while we're doing this. the brief advertisement, but it's an important one. 30 years ago, a group of scouters organized what's called the Silver Beaver Club. That membership is listed in the back of your program. The entire club is there. And this includes some members who are lifetime members as well as recent new members. We thank those of you in the club who have helped with the fundraising and other things related to the Silver Beaver. And if you would like to join the club, there's an application in the back of the booklet for you to fill out. Worthwhile thing to do. We get a few emails now and again that will remind you of these special events. I would like to just make a couple comments and lead into a short video that we have as we're gathering here. As Les indicated, we had a hugely successful year in 2017 in the National Capital Area Council, serving nearly 50,000 youth and with nearly 20,000 volunteers in the council. Not only the adult leaders we're recognizing this morning, who are leaders by example and often leaders in other ways in scouting, but also we have a large number of Eagle Scouts, 1,520, I believe is the exact count for 2017, who earned that honor. And as Les indicated, it's a great honor, and it's one that not all Scouts attain to. Those that do have really shown not only a commitment to lots of learnings that they do, but also to leadership, which is a key criteria for the Eagle Scout Board. The road to Eagle Scout is difficult for some, and I want to make a comment about that in a minute as we get to the video. I'd like to make just another reference to something. Scouting, as it does for those being recognized tonight, as many of you here who are not being recognized, maybe they've been recognized before, but are contributing, and tens of thousands of others who are contributing as adults in scouting. It can get in your blood. So this morning I said to my wife, is this okay for me to wear? And she said, yes, it's the Cub Scout colors. Which really wasn't what I was thinking. In fact, when I came into this role in scouting, my wife was the one that brought me into adult scouting more than anything. But when I came into this role that I have now, my wife said to me, well, that's really nice for you, but you can't be my boss because you don't know enough about Cub Scouting. And she's right, I don't know enough about Cub Scouting. And so there'd be plenty more for me to learn. I was involved more with venturing the other end of the continuum. But in scouting, there's something for everybody. And what we're hearing tonight, I would ask you, if you aren't already hearing this, it's being said, but if you're not already hearing it, listen especially for the diversity of things that people are doing as participants in scouting and in their community and with their churches and with their schools and in other ways for youth. There is a world out there of youth that needs our help and needs our support. We will, some of us sooner than others, will be passing on whatever we have been able to do in this life to others to continue on. But all of us will, in some way, pass on to others. And that's a lot of what the mission of scouting is about. This country will depend not on those of us sitting in this room in 50 years, maybe a few of us, but more on what we do for the coming generations of Americans. What we do for this society, what we do for families, what we do for the schools, what we do in all the areas of life that we serve. Scouting is about that kind of service, that kind of mission. It's grand, it's bold, and it's important. Now, the road to Eagle Scout, which is one of the key programs of scouting, while difficult for some, was especially challenging for three brothers. 7 years ago, Nick, Theo, and Stephen Cantos could barely cross the street or eat or tie their shoes without help. Last October, they made history for being the first blind triplets in history to become Eagle Scouts. They did it by earning merit badges that might seem almost impossible to achieve as a blind person, for such things as whitewater, rafting, archery, and wilderness survival. They did each build a shelter in the woods and spent the night at it. Much of the boys' success can be attributed to meeting the man who would eventually become their adopted father, Ollie Cantos. Ollie, who is also blind, came into their lives and helped give them hope and confidence and the resources they would need to make their way in the world. The brothers couldn't make it to today's ceremony, Some of you have seen them maybe on other occasions. But here is a little bit of their amazing story.
Leo, Nick, Stephen, and I first came into one another's lives when they were 10 years old. They had a pretty rough life, and that they really needed a role model and somebody to whom they could look as a source of inspiration. Little did I know how that one decision to just help out would ultimately change all of our lives.
We came here, we were basically kind of shut in. We didn't really go out that much. In fact, we didn't have that much of a life, hardly any friends. When Dad came in, he kind of showed us a different world.
When I think about how Nick was suicidal at the age of 10, he had no belief in himself, and he didn't think that his life had any value. Even though those assumptions on their merits are completely false and they're wrong. And I think if I couldn't have been in his life, what could have happened?
So my Eagle project was a supply drive for doorways for women and families. The project was to collect supplies for at least 100 people, but the support that I've gained was way over my goals, so we had to really deliver all this stuff here because there was so much from everyone who's helped me. I felt, well, this is a really good idea that to help people who don't have much and just to give back to people who are missing something.
I work at National Industries for the Blind. I think Boy Scouts has helped me to develop a good work ethic and has allowed me to see a purpose, which is why I really enjoy my job. Boy Scouts definitely helps with that.
My Eagle Scout project was a school supply drive for low-income kids. I decided to do this project because at that point I was helping these kids. I had applied to be a volunteer. I wanted to help them get their supplies that they need for education because education is important.
The way scouting has impacted us, because they have more confidence in themselves, it teaches them leadership. That is what scouting is really all about. And that's why, in this environment, Leo, Nick, and Stephen thrive.
Scouting is for those who want to be better people.
You might have these challenges, but if you have perseverance and if you have willpower, you'll do what you can to do well in scouting, because it's not necessarily just about the camping or just about the things that you can versus the things that you can't.
Yeah, so it really doesn't matter what somebody you have, right? It's more about what you think you can do. And if you try to do something that's out of your comfort zone and it works, that's great. If it doesn't work, try again.
I know that blindness is just a characteristic. It doesn't mean that we lead tragic existences. It doesn't mean that we're less capable. It just means we can't see. That's all it means. It doesn't mean we can't do things. It just means we can't see. That's it.
Now it's my pleasure to turn over the podium and for Rick and Wes to join me on stage for our next group of Silver Beaver recipients.
Christopher M. Miller, escorted by his wife Denise. Chris has been active in scouting since his youth, where he earned the Arrow of Light, religious medals, Eagle Scout with 9 palms, and Vigil Honor in the Order of the Arrow. He has served as Cub Master, Scout Master, or Assistant Scout Master in 7 units in 5 states. He has served on Wood Badge staff and served as Scout Master for 2 National Jamboree troops in 2 councils. He has led or advised 10 Philmont Scout Ranch and Summit High Adventure Base crews, and has been a National Order of the Arrow Conference delegate 4 times. Chris is a Leave No Trace Master Educator and a current American Red Cross instructor for cardiopulmonary resuscitation and wilderness first aid. He served as Summit District's Order of the Arrow Chapter Advisor, mentoring them to a Journey to Excellence goal 4 consecutive years. He mentored youth in producing patches and t-shirts at all levels. Chris holds degrees in electrical and aerospace engineering, including a doctorate in digital signal processing. He's retired from an Air Force career in flight test and space operations. He volunteers as a photojournalist for the Experimental Aircraft Association and Women in Aviation International, where his efforts are key to philanthropic youth development. His photographs have appeared in several international aviation publications, and one was named Best of the Best in 2015 Aviation Week and Space Technology Photo Contest. Chris has been married to his wife Denise for over 27 years. They have 2 Eagle Scout sons and an active Girl Scout daughter. This morning, in honor of his accomplishments, we proudly present the Silver Beaver Award to Chris Miller for distinguished service to youth.
Jim Morgan, escorted by his wife, Carrie. Jim began his scouting career as a Cub Scout in Wapakoneta, Ohio, earning his Arrow of Light. Inspired by local hero Neil Armstrong, he became an Eagle Scout. He was an Explorer Scout with a post focused on emergency preparedness. As an Ordeal member for the Ketchikanowha Lodge, he attended the National Order of the Arrow Conference at Miami University, where he later graduated with a bachelor's in science and business administration and met his wife, Carrie. When his son joined Cub Scouts, Jim re-engaged in scouting. A highlight was as the announcer for the District Pinebird Derby. Later, Jim became an assistant scoutmaster for Troop 1577 and served as the second assistant scoutmaster at the Centennial National Jamboree. In 2010, Jim became the Powhatan District Chairman, during which he helped organize an area Eagle Scout dinner. In 2013, he became Assistant Vice President of Mountain West and Chairman of the Gathering of Eagles, the Council's National Eagle Scout Association chapter. During this time, he expanded the role of adult Eagles in the community through the Eagle Career Day, endowment promotion, establishment of an Eagle Scout networking luncheon. Jim currently serves on the Council Executive Board as the Vice President of District Operations. When not scouting, Jim splits his time between church and family. For 17 years, he has led a Bible study in his home and supports the youth as a confirmation mentor and small group leader. He loves spending time with his 3 adult children, Sydney, Mackenzie, and Tucker, and of course, his wife of 31 years. In recognition of his leadership and service to scouting and the community, the National Capital Area Council proudly presents the Silver Beaver Award to Jim Morgan.
Catherine A. Fond, escorted by her son, Michael. Catherine has lived a life of service to her community, starting at an early age when she volunteered as a religious educator at her church. Catherine's a native of Newry, Pennsylvania. She was the first of 8 children and the only daughter. Catherine began her commitment to scouting 27 years ago when her son Michael, a first grader in Gaithersburg, Maryland at the time, asked her to join Cub Scout, Tiger Cubs. She volunteered as den leader, and for the next 5 years, as her son advanced through the scouting ranks, she continued as an active and fully trained scoutmaster. For the past 20 years, Catherine has counseled scouts pursuing the religious emblems and served on the district committee and commissioner court. Catherine was selected for the Order of the Arrow and was awarded the Vigil Honor for unwavering service to both her chapter and the lodge. After her son earned his Eagle Scout rank, Catherine continued to serve the district committee in a variety of roles, but finds she most enjoys being unit commissioner. She has, for 20 years, served her church and community by helping with the food pantry. She's a lifetime member of the Montgomery County Fair, as well as knitting prayer shawls for the sick and fervent for close to a decade. Catherine remains an active and enthusiastic volunteer to her community and to Scouting, and the Scouting roles she plans to continue for years to come. She is an inspiration to her son, Mike, who is a firefighter and Eagle Scout mentor. For all she has done for Scouting in the community, we are proud to present the Silver Beaver Award this morning to Catherine Vaughn.
Jorge Afroca, escorted by his wife, Laura. Jorge began his scouting career at age 11, joining the scout troop in Mexico City. His most memorable experience with this troop was an adventure hike, where they climbed to the first shelter on the volcano commonly known as El Popo. After high school, Jorge joined the United States Army, and his volunteer service was primarily working with youth as a baseball coach, umpire director, and Stafford Baseball League commissioner. In 2007, Jorge returned to Scouting as a parent volunteer when his youngest son, Matthew, joined Cub Scout Pack 578. He became one of 2 Webelos Den leaders for Pack 578 until the Webelos bridged to Scouts, joining Troop 1717. Jorge currently serves as Scoutmaster for Troop 1889. He is a unit commissioner, merit badge counselor, and nominations committee chairman for Acquia District. He has been on Wood Badge staff for 4 courses, and the district training staff for Introduction to Outdoor Leadership Skills. He was also an Associate Order of the Associate Order of the Area Advisor for the Acquia chapter. I think that got mixed up. Sorry, Jorge. And the past course director and Scoutmaster for Youth Leadership Training at Acquia District. He currently serves as a board member and professional staff member for Scuba Jam, a group that supports youth scuba diving, as well as instructor and leader for coral reef restoration efforts worldwide. Jorge's Scouting awards and recognition include the Order of the Arrow Vigil Honor, Distinguished Commissioner Service Award, District Award of Merit, Arrowhead Honor, Outstanding District Service Award, Webelos Den Leader Award, and Outstanding Commissioner Award. For his dedication to Scouting and his community, the National Capital Area Council proudly presents the Silver Beaver Award to Jorge Roca.
Stuart M. Sanford, escorted by his friend Jim Whipple. Stu began his scouting adventure in Modesto, California. In 1967, Stu traveled with his troop's Drum and Bugle Corps to the 12th World Jamboree in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That experience inspired Stu to go to the 1969 National Jamboree and achieve the rank of Eagle Scout. Shortly after, Stu enlisted in the United States Navy and shipped out to Subic Bay, Philippines. Stu joined the on-base troop and completed Wood Badge training in 1972. He continued to be involved in Scouts until his discharge in 1975. Stu spent several years on sea duty after college graduation and Navy Officer Candidate School. When assigned shore duty in Hawaii, Stu again joined the local troop. During this time, he attended training at Philmont Scout Ranch and found it was a lot of fun to shout out "Aloha" at the campfires. Stu's proudest scouting achievement is to have organized 2 troops and 1 Sea Scout ship in this council. Stu served for 25 years as Junior Vice Commander of Veteran for Foreign Wars, Post 7916. During this time, he convinced the post to sponsor multiple scout units. Stu's a member of the state VFW scouting team, responsible for promoting scouting and VFW scholarships. Stu has 42 years of federal service and is still working for the Department of Defense. He's married to Laura Sanford, and they have 1 daughter, Melissa, son-in-law Matt Sakor, and a granddaughter, Isabel. Stu's very excited that his granddaughter will have the opportunity to become an Eagle Scout if she so desires. This morning, the National Capital Area Council takes great pride in awarding the Silver Beaver to Stuart Sanford.
Michael Anthony Saunders, escorted by his friend, Brian McCain. Mike's scouting career, now spanning 50 years, beginning in Pack 20 of Elmira, New York. He earned the Arrow of Light, then joined Troop 20, and achieved the rank of Life Scout. In order to become a first-class scout, Mike had to learn Morse code, and that spawned a lifelong interest in ham radio. Unable to pass life-saving, he moved to explore Post 20, where he continued until local Draft Board 64 invited him to join the armed forces. By then, he met his future wife of 48 years, the lovely Sharon Junquet, a student nurse at the hospital where his mother was also a nurse. Did mother have something to do with that? Mike took a sabbatical from scouting in 1969 to start a 25-year career with the United States Navy. He rejoined scouting in 1980 when his son Tony expressed interest in Cub Scouts. They joined Pack 1081 with Mike on the unit committee. After Cub Scouts, they joined Troop 1083, where Mike was assistant scoutmaster, and then scoutmaster for 6 years, and committee chair for 15 more years. Mike became a Potomac District Unit Commissioner in 1991, then Assistant District Commissioner, and is now District Commissioner. Mike continues to enjoy camping with grandsons Noah, Jacob, and Troop 1083. Mike is a Vigil Honor member of the Order of the Arrow. Mike's Eagle Scout Tony is a Navy captain and stationed in Japan. He has 3 sons. 2 are in Pack 33, Far East Council. Mike's daughter Laura is an elementary and resources teacher at Great Falls Elementary. For his distinguished service to youth and his community, we proudly present the Silver Beaver Award to Michael Saunders.
Deborah Joanne Schenecker, escorted by her son, David. Deb grew up in a military family, participating for a short time in Daisy and Campfire Girls. She's held numerous positions as Tiger Cub Group Coach, Den Leader from Wolf Scout to Arrow of Light, Pack Committee Chair, Troop Committee Secretary, Merit Badge Counselor, and recently concluded an 8-year stint as Round Table Commissioner. Currently, she is her district's Day Camp Program Director, a member of the Camping and Outdoor Program Committee and Training Team. She's also taught 14 consecutive years at Powwow and a few years at the University of Scouting. Deb's contributions to youth outside of Scouting include working with the Fairfax High School, the Fairfax City Community 4-H Club, and Barcroft Bible Church. For 10 years, she served as a 4-H project leader, planning projects involving arts and crafts, sewing, needlework, scrapbooking, and gardening, while concurrently volunteering as a chaperone for the band, orchestra, sports teams, and church youth ministry. An Air Force veteran, Deb continues to serve her community. She's held several leadership roles in the local Parent-Teacher-Student Association, chaired the Baccalaureate Committee twice, and currently serves her church's Greeters Ministry. Deb is the purchasing administrator in George Mason University's Civil, Environmental, and Infrastructure Engineering Department, and administrative assistant in George Mason's Command and Control, Communications, Computer, Intelligence, and Cyber Center. Deb married her husband Mike in 1983. They have 2 Eagle Scout sons and a daughter who is recipient of the 4-H Gold Award for Achievement and a lifetime inductee into the Virginia 4-H All-Stars. For her positive impact on scouting and the community, we are proud to present Deborah Schenecker with the Silver Beaver Award.
They're not going anywhere. Because Michael John Schenecker is also being escorted by their son David. Growing up as a military brat, Mike joined Cub Scouts at Ramey Air Force Base, Puerto Rico, and taking their rank with numerous arrowheads. After hiatus from Scouts, he joined a police explorer post in Aiea, Hawaii. Most of his camping experiences came from trips into the northern Cascades in Washington State with his grandfather. Mike is currently the George Mason District Camping and Outdoor Program Chair, a member of the district training team, and an instructor for both powwow and the University of Scouting. He has held multiple scouter positions at the pack, troop, crew, and district level, enabling him to experience his 2 sons attaining the Eagle Scout rank, and his daughter's move from being the pack mascot to a leader in her venturing crew. Mike met his wife at college, married some months after her graduation and commissioning. Together, they supported their church's youth ministry programs, and for 10 years devoted time and effort to the Fairfax City Community 4-H Club. He also spent countless hours supporting fundraising and field maintenance activities for Fairfax Police Youth Clubs and Fairfax High School music and sports programs where his children attended. For 28 years, Mike served as an intelligence officer in the United States Air Force, with assignments supporting operations across the entire spectrum of war. He is currently a senior systems engineer with Intelligence Consulting Enterprise Solutions Incorporated, directly supporting government customers. Mike and his family live in Fairfax, Virginia, where he enjoys researching his ancestors' convergence with over 300 years of American history. For his outstanding service to Scouting, the National Capital Area Council proudly presents the Silver Beaver Award to Michael Schenecker.
Kurt Donald Yankaskis, escorted by his children, Mike, Chris, and Julie. Kurt remembers fondly his white Cub Scout Pinewood Derby car, practicing life-saving ring toss with a weighted rope in the driveway, and walking across rope bridges between the front yard apple trees. He returned to scouting as his children, Michael, Christopher, and Julie, showed interest in scouting. They achieved 2 Eagle Scout awards and 1 Silver Award. Kurt has served as Assistant Det Leader, Pinewood Derby Chairman, and PAC Committee Chair. He's also served as Troop Popcorn Colonel, Troop Treasurer, Assistant Scoutmaster, Merit Badge Counselor, and Appalachian Trail District Popcorn Colonel. Even with all this going on, he's always there to help Julie and her Girl Scout troop. He attended National Camping School, becoming the Camp Area Aquatics Director with his sons on pool staff, and later becoming Camp Director. At that time, Mike, Chris, and Julie served as assistant, senior, and/or senior patrol leaders. He earned the District Award of Merit and his Wood Badge beads, and has served on the camping, aquatics, and STEM committees, Camp Snyder maintenance volunteer, and a member of the Order of the Arrow. Kurt's engaged in many STEM activities and conferences, including a multi-engine commercial pilot's license and executive director of the International Submarine Races, an engineering competition. Kurt and his wife Brenda met through their parents' bridge club and married many years later. Kurt has a 40-year career as a United States Navy civilian, managing hearing loss research and ship acoustic design engineering, while Brenda is a music and drama teacher. For his outstanding service to Scouting, the National Capital Area Council proudly presents the Silver Beaver Award to Kurt Yankaskis.
Now, I would like to introduce our final Silver Beaver for this morning. Zeke Zarella Jr., escorted by his wife, Kathy. Born to an Air Force family, Zeke lived in Florida, Labrador, Wyoming, and Massachusetts. He joined Scouts in Cheyenne, Wyoming, camping and riding horses in the Rocky Mountains, and Massachusetts, where he achieved star. He also worked at BSA Camp Akahala. After finishing a biomedical engineering degree at Penn State University, he married his high school sweetheart, Kathy, a registered nurse. He later went back to earn an electrical engineering degree. Zeke's been an adult scouter since his son Jason joined Tiger Scouts in 1986, following him through to Eagle Scout. He served in many pack, troop, and district positions. He's also been Camp Area, Logistics, Transportation, and Trek Lead, Camp Ross, Camp Director, Goshen Financial Lead, and Goshen Bear, and an Aero Corps and Summit Corps staff member. Zeke earned his Wood Badge beads, National Camping School certification, and a University of Scouting doctorate. He's taught Scouts and youth of Frederick County as an instructor for CPR, First Aid, and Wilderness First Aid. He received the Order of the Arrow Vigil Honor, District Award of Merit, and the Catoctin Mountain Peak Award. In the community, Zeke was a liaison coordinator for the Arthritis Foundation, chairman's logistic lead for the International Submarine Races, Eucharistic minister for St. Joseph's Catholic Church, a Habitat for Humanity volunteer, a Red Cross blood donor, and supports the community with carpentry, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical work. Kathy and Zeke enjoy camping in their recreational vehicle, surf and fly fishing, kayaking, golf, and reading. In recognition of his service to Scouting in the community, we are proud to present the Silver Beaver Award to Zeke Zarella.
Congratulations to all of our new Silver Beaver Award recipients. Let's give them one more big round of applause. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce our 2018 Silver Beaver class honoree, John Montgomery. He's the son of an Eagle Scout and the grandson of a Silver Beaver. John's youth centered on church and scouting. He was a member of Troops 681 in Falls Church, Virginia, 801 in Coronado, California, and 111 in Arlington, Virginia, which is where he made his Eagle Scout. He served as Senior Patrol Leader there and Junior Assistant Scoutmaster, and also joined the Order of the Arrow. John is a graduate of Gonzaga College High School and the United States Naval Academy. Go Navy!
Yeah.
Go Navy!
He has law degrees from the University of Missouri and Georgetown University. During his 25-year career as a member of the Navy Judge Advocate General's Corps, he served as a senior advisor to the Secretary of Defense, Special Assistant for Strategy to the Undersecretary of Defense, Acquisition and Technology, Special Counsel to the Navy General Counsel, and Director of Legislation in the Office of the Secretary of the Navy. Earlier, he was a military trial judge and chief legal officer to military commands in the United States and overseas. John is co-founder and partner in the Washington, D.C. law firm, Global Law Group, where he assists domestic and foreign companies in doing business with the United States federal government. An adult scouter and community volunteer for 44 years, John was president of the Subic Bay Naval Base Nursery School in the Philippines, Medicine Man, aka Vice President of the Fairfax County YMCA Indian Guides Program, Vice President of W.T. Woodson High School Crew Team Parent Boosters Club, and has taught religious education classes. He served as a Rebels Den Leader and Committee Chairman of PAC 1533 in Fairfax, Virginia. John has been an active board member of the NCAC Executive Board since 1998, serving in numerous leadership positions, including Assistant General Counsel, Assistant Vice President, United Way, Combined Federal Campaign, Chair of the Training Committee, Vice President, Program, and member of Council Executive Committee. He has chaired 2 Council program launches, 3 Council Strategic Planning Committees, 2 Council Key Leadership Workshops, the Attorney of the Year Good Scout Award Committee, and the National Eagle Scout Association Outstanding Eagle Scout Award Committee. He recently stepped down after 6 years as the chair of the Camping and Outdoor Program Committee. John's most memorable and rewarding assignment was serving as the chairman of the National Capital Area Council Centennial Camp Parade. The gathering of more than 8,000 scouts and scouters at Ocean Scout Reservation in 2010 celebrated the 100th anniversary of scouting. He's a wood badger and a wood badge staffer. John's awards include the Silver Beaver, National Eagle Scout Association Outstanding Eagle Scout Award, and the Elgin Dairy Erosion Visionary Award. John has 2 adult children, Jennifer and Jay Michael, and 2 grandsons, Josh, who's a Boy Scout, and Brady, who's a Cub Scout. He and wife Kathy reside in Arlington, Virginia. John, would you join us on stage? John, on behalf of the thousands of youth members and adult volunteers of the National Capital Area Council, congratulations on all you have achieved in and out of scouting.
Can you get it right here? Okay. Wow. Thanks, Jim. What a wonderful day and what a superb event.
I'd like to thank in particular our Council President, Jim Smith, our Scout Executive, Les Barron, for their superb leadership, for everything they've done. Less than 8 years that I've known him, Jim, in his time as our president. Under their direction and the leadership of my colleagues on the executive board, our council, and the 21,000 volunteers across the council, we really are recognized as the best of class council in America. We are the best. All you have to do is look around and see the folks in this room, many of you who not just have leadership positions at our council, but area, region, national committees. Our professionals go on and lead councils across the country. We currently have 2 of our former professionals who are now assistant national Scout executives. Al Lambert, who was Es's predecessor, our Scout executive, and Brian Scarrett, who many years ago was our deputy Scout executive. We are just an amazing organization. You're an amazing group, and it's been a privilege to be with you all these years. Let me begin by saying I've watched the Silver Beaver Awards for at least 20 years now, and each year I never cease to be amazed at the caliber of individuals that we get. Folks come from all walks of life. Oops, gotta keep it away. All walks of life, different careers, some military, some civilian. The one common denominator for everyone is the service that they provide, not just to scouting, but you hear it over and over to our schools, our communities, military service, government service. It really is an amazing group. To all the volunteers in the audience, I want to thank you. We've heard so many of your positions that you hold in scouting. I hope not to embarrass my daughter too much here, but she sent me a text this week and said she could make a lunch with my mother and me because she was had to pick up and deliver 850 flyers for school nights, and at her school distribute those flyers so they get on the backpacks for the kids when they're coming home that night. And she's, does her work. She leads the pack popcorn sales and decorating tables for Blue Banquet and many other tasks. And she didn't have a position. She just does it because there's work to be done. And I was thinking as I got her text, we have 21,000 registered volunteers. We, I'm sure, have thousands and thousands more who are not holding official positions, but just step up to the plate and do the work because there's work to be done to make scouting go. So thank you to everyone who supports scouting. Like many of you in this year's class with Silver Beavers, my scouting career began as a boy. And it's fun to see folks here today representing Troop 111. My troop was a boy. My scouting trail has, over the years, I've interacted with many of the awardees today. Some on my various capacities, chairing different committees, some on the executive board. I can't name everybody, but I just have to name Jay Edson because he is the unit commissioner for my Boy Scout troop in Arlington. And it's a small world in scouting. I returned to scouting when my son entered scouting. He was a unit leader in Fairfax, Virginia. And then, like many of you as well, I kind of exited scouting. Thought I had finished my career in scouting until one afternoon in the fall of 1997, I was sitting in my office at the Pentagon, and I got a phone call from a gentleman named Ron Carroll, who said he was the scout executive for the National Capital Area Council. Now, I knew as a boy, and I knew as a unit leader in Fairfax, I knew there was a National Capital Area Council, and I knew that I was a part of it. But I had never in my life spoken to anybody at that exalted level. In fact, I don't think I ever spoke to anyone at the district level, except going to a round table. So getting a call from this gentleman, Ron Carroll, was quite a experience for me. And he said he wanted to come into my office and meet with me to talk about scouting. I knew he found me. I wasn't surprised. He found me because I was in a position was listed in the roster of the Office of Secretary of Defense and a protocol list. But what amazed me was he knew I was an Eagle Scout. And, you know, he played that up well. A week later, he called and asked if I would be willing to join the executive board, and it didn't take much to twist my arm to do that. A week later, I joined the board. I attended my first board meeting in January of 1998, and who I run into at this board meeting but a gentleman named Bob Bedingfield, who was a very close friend and Gonzaga high school classmate of mine, and he happened to be the president of the executive board. So again, it is such a wonderful small community that we were with. I kind of moved slowly. I was hoping, kind of check out this board, see what it was all about. And at the same time, I could tell Ron Carroll and his team were kind of checking me out. And they first assigned me, we'll make you assistant general counsel. That was pretty easy. I did a few legal things now and then. A year later, I was assistant vice president of what was then, we no longer have, the United Way combined federal campaign. I guess that went okay, because then Ron Carroll came to me and said, John, I've got an idea for this new event I want to do out at Snyder. We're going to call it a council program launch and outdoor program adventure. And the idea was we would bring all the resources that unit leaders and district leaders need to plan an annual program for their units and their districts, bring all the resources out to Snyder for a day, bring all these a dozen or so vendors of outdoor adventure venues, bring them to Snyder, and we invited the youth, the scouts and their siblings to all come out and have a great day at Snyder. And we hadn't even finished cleaning up from the second of those two program launches that I chaired when one of Ron's deputies sat me down at the table and said, John, we'd like you to be chairman of the training committee. And I demurred at first, said, I don't know anything about training. They said, that doesn't matter, and it didn't. And so I agreed. And kind of the rest is history. It wasn't too long into my time as chair of the training committee, one of the scout professionals I was particularly close to came up to me at a meeting and he said, John, you drunk the Kool-Aid. Those of you who laughed at my age, because the younger folks probably don't even know what that reference is. As was mentioned earlier, the highlight of my career, as I call it career, my 20 years with the Council Executive Board, really was the Centennial Camporee, 2010, and I was pleased to see how many honorees this year listed being staff members on that great event. I've told a number of people the story. It was a long 18 months of planning to put that together. There were times I wasn't sure we would make it. I was glad we did it. But we had at the end of the main program day at Goshen Memorial Day weekend, we had this wonderful arena show. And at the beginning of the arena show, I had a young Cub Scout and his Cub Master walked up to me. And the Cub Scout looked up, and he couldn't have been much more than 5 years old, and he said, Sir, this has been the best day of my whole life. And that made 18 months, really good. I had told my wife Kathy I was going to take a sabbatical from scouting after that 18-month effort. And I really need to recognize Kathy and all of the spouses who donate the time so we can go out and have the fun and do the things we do to support scouting. And I told Kathy I was going to take a sabbatical. What I wasn't planning on was that the vice chief for logistics of the camp area was a gentleman named Scott Gray, very close friend, and another Naval Academy graduate for the Navy. And so Scott was named vice president of the program, and he asked me if I would come back and be the chairman of the Camping Capital Program Committee, and I obviously did not say no to Scott, so sorry, Kathy. A sabbatical may come at some point. I just want to close by following up on a theme that I raised at the dinner that we held back in February, planning dinner for this event today. And I asked the question, why do we volunteer our time for scouting? Why do we do what we do? I mentioned at the time a gentleman by the name of Marcus Tullius Cicero. I'm going to say, wow. Cicero was a first century Roman philosopher, writer, politician, and yes, a lawyer. And his idea that he wrote about most often was a life well lived. For those of you who weren't at the dinner, we can say just briefly about Cicero. He introduced Greek thought to the Romans. Many just assumed that the writings and philosophy, what we know today from Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, just kind of carried on from Greece through Rome. Thus, they didn't. They died out. It wasn't until the first century when Cicero introduced those writings and those thoughts and what are the foundation of a Western civilization today, introduced those to the Romans. Cicero is credited with initiating the Renaissance. He's considered to have had more influence on Western writing and philosophy than any other person. As I mentioned, one of his greatest contributions was exploring the idea of a life well spent. He wrote a book by that title. The preface of the first American English translation of A Life Well Spent was written by none other than Benjamin Franklin. The book is all about the importance of setting priorities in our lives, the need for continual learning and exploring and growing, recognizing the important things in life, and of investing wisely in one's time and talents so that during our lives we can make a positive difference in our communities and in the lives of others. One of the more well-known quotes from Cicero's book is, "The life given us by nature is short, but the memory of a well-spent life is eternal." Another, and my favorite, is, "Not alone for ourselves are we born." While I admire many of Baden-Powell's quotes, a number of years ago I adopted Cicero's "Not alone for ourselves are we born" as the message on my scouting email signature. I was fortunate to have grown up in a family that believed strongly in the values of scouting, to have attended a high school that had as its slogan, "Building men with others," and to have graduated from a college and had a career in the Navy that ingrained in us the concept of ship, shipmate, and self in that word. Not all institutions today exemplify putting our country, our community, and others first. There was a time in our country, indeed during the lives of many of us here today, when a president challenged American citizens to ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. In the 57 years since those words were written, I fear we've become too often a country divided, one where people ask what the government is doing for them or for their group. I'm proud that Scouting holds as one of its core principles good citizenship and selfless service to country, community, and others. Our Scouting movement is building leaders for the future, individuals who understand the concept of servant leadership. That's Scouting's legacy to our country and community. That's the legacy you new Silver Beavers, and indeed all of you who contribute your time, treasure, and talents to Scouting, continue to build. May you all enjoy long and healthy lives, but most of all, may you enjoy lives well spent. For not alone, for ourselves are we born.
John, thank you so much for your thoughts and sharing with us this year's class honoree. I was just struck, many times brought up early on, we just talked about friends that he's had along the way. And you think about the friends and fellowship we gain through service. The many things you do in Scouting and in the community, those you serve alongside for others really tend to be your best friends. So think about that. It's not your neighbors, it's not your families, it's not any particular organizations, it's those you serve alongside with. And John, I think that's something I took away from there too. I want to thank all of you for being here today and to provide this honor to our awards recipients. It was amazing. As our Scotty's founder, Lord Robert Baden Powell once said, no one can pass through life any more than he can pass through a bit of country without leaving tracks behind. And those tracks may often be helpful to those coming after him to find their way. So my challenge to you is, continue to leave those tracks wherever you go and whatever you do. Your passion, kindness, and humility are an inspiration to us all. We have now come to the end of the 8th Annual National Capital Area Council Court of Honor. As a reminder, our Silver Beaver awardees today will be standing by some pedestals in the back, so I should kind of scoot back there quickly during here so people can find me easily. Also, we'll be standing by some certificates that we have for them. For our benediction, I would like to continue a tradition started several years ago at this Court of Honor. So would everyone please take a position of reverence according to your faith and join me in the Scoutmaster's benediction. And now, may the great Scoutmaster of all Scouts be with us until we meet again. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Congratulations, sir. Thank you.